Welcome to the Unsupervised Podcast, the podcast for entrepreneurs, business owners, and leaders. Today's episode is all about those shiny little phrases corporations love to throw around like work hard, play hard, and we're a family. You've seen them in job listings, on career pages, and maybe even etched into a motivational poster near the keurig. But behind those buzzwords, sometimes it's a polite way of saying we're about to wreck your work-life balance and hand you a pizza party in return.
I'm telling Sean all the time, we're building a culture here. And that's where we really truly do try to do that.
I mean, you're a small business though, so that makes sense. And that's okay. You can control the culture in a small business. I think when big corporations try to tell you, we have a good culture, fun culture, or you need to fit with our culture, like you don't.
And it's a different perspective. It depends on when you're coming in. I didn't hire Sean saying, hey, well, this is a great culture. This is where you want to be. I didn't oversell that to him. Sometimes that's the problem when corporations try to oversell you on the type of culture that they have. Where we're at is I just tell him, hey man, we are building with him involved in that. The what he brings to the table is our culture. I hired him for a specific reason, not just because of the skills he could bring, but more so because the culture, he fit in right with the culture and what we were trying to do.
Like I work for a big corporation, but they pretty much leave us alone at our branch where there's 11
you run
people.
As an independent.
Pretty much. But at the same time, if I'm interviewing somebody or putting up a job posting, I'm not using the corporate ease is what I call it. What are some good terms like we'll follow back up with that, or we'll circle back on that. Like the emails where you type up your email and like,
just
okay,
they don't know what they're trying to say, what they want to say.
Yeah, we'll circle back on that.
When we figure out what we want to say.
Yeah. Using forecasting a little too much in conversation.
Which means we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
No. But when you're looking to work for a company, they may have situations where you're going to work in a small business type atmosphere, but it's something you need to look out for, like in job postings, what I want to call red flags. It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad or run away. It just means, hey, this is something you need to look at. And we have a few of these, and especially if they're using that corporate jargon in the job posting, then okay, well, you're not getting hired to a smaller.
In the past, when I've spent time looking for other opportunities before I started my business, and I would look at job posting on LinkedIn, especially LinkedIn, and you start looking at those terms and those are red flags to me. I just completely, I'm like, you know what? It's not that I'm not motivated or I'm not a hard worker or a self-starter. I know what you're trying to do. I know you're trying to set me up to put me in a position to fail.
And it's one thing if you're just, if they're filling out their job posting, whatever programs or software they use to do that, where it's just kind of click, it fills it in for them. They're not like actually, but if you're using these terms in interviews and emails are okay, because emails are a completely different world, a different language, but like, talk to me how you're going to talk to me. Don't talk, use all this different jargon to, like you said, basically say nothing. But it sounds good in a meeting, you know? And one of them, I know you're going to like this because we just talked about this in one of our recent episodes. When a job posting says you must be able to multitask, and we've already said there's no multitasking. It's dividing it. You might be able to do 3 things at once, but you're doing it, you're not putting 100% attention on 3 different things.
Yeah, you're watering down your attention towards each thing.
And basically what that's going to mean is you're going to be doing a lot of different crap. A lot of times they're not going to let you focus on one thing at a time. And, which that's fine. If that's the job, that's fine. Like just talk to me and say, hey, you're going to be, I say, I wasn't really an interview for this past job. I'd already gotten the job and I was just meeting another manager to tell me, he told me you're basically just field ground balls all day. I'm like, yeah, that's a better way to say it than saying you're going to be multitasking, because I could be busy doing something else, have a plan. Hey, this is my plan for the day. And a ground ball comes in and ruins that whole day.
Yeah.
And
I use the term a lot. There's a lot of audibles, and that does happen in a lot of businesses, and that's okay. Like but that's also a skill that you can develop. Nobody
Yeah.
just comes into it. Like, I'm probably one of the world's worst at trying to multitask and field those ground balls, be that guy that has to stop and start and shift.
Another sports pun, pivot.
Yeah.
It's not you have to be good. You know, I think it's a skill, like you said, you learn. You just have to be able to have a clear mind, not freak out, not get frustrated, and say, okay, we're moving to this now.
I'm a guy, 10 years ago, I'd flip out if something changed. I hated change. If I was focused on something and really felt like I was gaining ground on it, and all of a sudden something changed, I would get so upset. I was in estimating, commercial electrical estimating for a long time. And, you know, you'd be working on all these, I was an estimator. I would be working on all these plans and putting an estimate together. And then all of a sudden an email pops up right before I finish up the bid. Oh, we have an addendum. We have changes. So now I have to pretty much start over because I got to go through and reevaluate the entire set of plans for any changes that could be there. And it used to be the most frustrating thing for me.
Yeah.
You know, and I still deal with that from time to time. And when I'm, running my own business, obviously I have to do, like, I don't have a choice, right? But I've gotten better about understanding of just stopping, take a breath. Okay, we're going to reset. We're going to do this. And that's the thing, is not creating that chaos and frustration when those things happen. But it's a huge red flag when a company is putting that in the job listing saying, hey, this is what we expect of you, to just be able to do that. And what if it's, and I'm sure this will come up in more of these items we're looking at, but what if you're the right person and could be the right fit, but you don't have that right skill and they don't hire you because of that skill that could be learned and developed, but they're missing out on so many other opportunities. Like you might be the best person that meshes in with that team, you know?
Yeah. And I'm one that looks at that too when I'm hiring. Is I've hired a lot of new guys with very little experience, because experience isn't hard to get. Like you hire them. They're going to get experience.
How do the guys that have experience get it? Somebody took a chance on them. Somebody bet on them to be successful.
You focus on the things that, okay, I like this about this guy. I can't teach that. You hire who you want to work with. And then the rest you can't. I mean, sometimes you just say, okay, well, I just can't hire. And I've done that before, that no experience at all. So in this particular instance, we have 3 guys I just hired with no experience. I need, I can't have somebody that green,
Yeah.
But in lots of instances, you have a good attitude. You want to work. You seem capable and competent. The rest we can work on.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I'll bring up, Sean will probably get brought up a lot in this. I brought him in with very little experience, very green at what we do in the graphics and signs and even the design. He had a little bit of graphic design experience at a younger age, but not recent. And, I took a chance on him because it looked like he was going to be the right fit for what we had as a company. And he understood the vision that I have for the company and where I want to see it go. He understood that vision and was excited about, helping that grow and see that grow. So, obviously, taking a chance is probably the wrong term. I bet on him hey, he's going to be good. And he has. I mean, this now. He's my lead guy. He's like my job foreman for all these installs. He's developed tons of skills in a short amount of time because he wanted it and he understood the goals and came in. But I also didn't hire him throwing all this stuff at him either of, culture and all this other crap that, the big corporations will do to scare him off.
I think I'd respect a job posting more if it just said fielding ground balls all day.
Yeah.
But it was very fitting. I mean, some are slow grounders, some are line drives at my head. Some days are easy, some days are hard. I just know I'm coming to work, I'm going to be playing baseball all day pretty much. Self-starter. You say when they want a self-starter, what does that mean to you? To me, it's like we don't have time to focus on you. I need you to be able to just come in and do stuff on your own. Self-starter describes you, but I think it throws up a red flag where before I got involved in sales, I was very outside. I'm never going to do sales. I could never do sales. And if that's what kind of self-motivated self-starter to me, it's like, I need to get out there and because I was more, I wasn't very outgoing, and to me, that would turn me off of a job quickly if I'm kind of like, hey, I just kind of keep to myself. I'll do a good job.
It leaves an unknown expectation when they use that term.
You don't know whatever you want to do. Just tell me what to do.
Yeah, but that leaves that unknown expectation. And again, that's another skill that can be learned. But the thing is they can't be a self-starter if you don't do a good enough job training them to understand what they need to be starting.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, really a lot of these that we're going to talk about today are going to boil down to this. Corporations don't spend enough time training anymore. You know, that's something that, and I'm going to use my business as an example because that's the one I know. And I've been in bigger corporations and seen that there's no training. They just expect you to hit the ground and figure it out.
Yeah.
And then get upset when you fail. But it's like, well, you set me up to fail. You didn't give me an opportunity to succeed. You didn't train me what you want. And so it was ever changing. And sometimes that, at least for the last corporation I worked for, that was what it was like, is they just threw it out there because they didn't know. They had no clue what they were doing either. So they were just hoping that you would bring that skill that they couldn't do, which is okay in some instances, but be upfront and honest about it. But like for our business, we spend a ton of time training. I mean, even though I have Sean he's the lead guy, he's my job foreman, my install foreman, you know, and he even jumps in and helps. And we'll talk about this too. You know, he you know, helps design, you know, he's working on those skills, even developing his skills more to work with us, but I'm giving him opportunities to do that. But I'm working alongside him. I'm not, okay, you're really good. You go, you've got it.
Yeah.
Like I'm still working beside him. You know, I look at really the training period should be the first year.
Yeah.
After the first year, if you're not trained well enough to take over, that's on me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on the person. It's not, because if the company's motivating enough and doing a good enough job, it's never the employee. You know, a lot of employees get, and I get it. You know, I've hired, you know, we've had bad guys help, and sometimes like, and this person's just not going to work out.
Yeah.
But a lot of time there's no bad employees. Like you more times than not, there are no bad employees. It's bad management.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't do a better job of managing and training people, then you're going to get lackluster performance.
Yeah. And some guys will say it's like, well, I can't afford to train somebody for that long, but really it's not. I mean,
well, then you can't afford to be in business.
Well, when you're talking with Sean, it doesn't seem like he's been in training at all. Like for a couple of weeks, but then he's kind of like, okay, yeah, you're training him, but he's also a helper to you. You know, he's also doing things where he's picking it up, and it's not like, okay, you're just a trainee for a year. It's
on job training.
You're on the job training, but you're like giving him more and more freedom. And just like we're hiring one of our techs, they're not going to be ready to go for probably 8 months to a year, but you know, after a month, they can go do some stuff, and it just kind of like, okay, they can go take care of smaller stuff. So it's not like they just ride along.
But that's with management. You have to read those skills, and you have to know when, okay, they're ready to fly here. Let's give them that on their own. And even then, and give them room to fail. It's okay if, you know, don't set them up to fail, but give them room for failure. Things happen.
That's how they learn. I mean, you can tell. I mean, you've had lots of life experiences and failures and everything with your 15 plus years experience in that field. You can tell Sean all day long, hey, I learned this, and he may absorb some of it. Yeah, he's not gonna really take it to heart. So you kind of almost have to maybe even push him to fail just a little bit. And not fail, but
no,
like, hey,
I know what you're saying.
You're gonna run into. I know you probably don't know how to do this, but I'm gonna wait to see how you react to it. And like, are you gonna call me? Because even 3 years from now, he may be on a job. He calls you, hey, I don't have a lot of experience with this. You have a ton of experience. You want that. You don't want to say, hey, you're on your own now. Don't call me. You know, you want to give him that.
I'm honest with him. You know, as our business has grown, we're taking on a lot of new projects, like a lot of new products and things. So I'm upfront and honest with him too. When and I don't think there's enough management that's honest with their employees enough to say, hey, I don't know. To be able to say, hey, I don't know. Let's work this out together. Let's figure it out together. Then we'll both learn. And I'm the first person to tell you that every time if I don't know something, I'm not going to fake it to my guys, especially my team, the guys around me. Now, a customer, I may have to say, oh, yeah, we can do that. Thinking we've never done it, but we will sure figure it out. Even if it costs us money, we're going to figure it out, and we'll know how to do it from here out.
Yeah, I've never anytime I've used I don't know, but let me figure it out, or I'll find that out for you. I've never gotten back
bad feedback.
Yeah, never. It's like, all right, just let me know. Now they're usually more persistent. Like maybe it's later that week or even later that day. Hey, do you have your answer for me? But I've never gotten like, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. Just because let me find out for you.
Yeah.
However you want to use that jargon, that corporate jargon. Fast paced. So this kind of goes a little bit with must be able to multitask and kind of self-starter. as well. Is it's just telling you it's going to be stressful, which it's a job.
Yeah.
I get that.
But that's pretty much the definition, or it's the definition of that, or the other translation of that is it's going to be chaotic. We're going to be understaffed. We're not going to give you enough help.
Yeah.
So buckle up.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't have to put this in a I don't think somebody sees fast pace and be like, oh, okay, I can prepare for that. It's just, honestly, I think most people
But is there
just
really
look past it. They don't even think about it.
Is there a business that isn't fast paced?
Yeah, it's like it's work. Like, is there a job that's not stressful? Like, you are living, best job in the world right now to you is because you're running your own business. But it might be more stressful than half
It's
your
stressful
jobs.
every day.
You're just dealing,
Yeah.
it's your stresses and you can control them. But if I don't know that there's a job where you're not stressed out.
Yeah.
But
But ours is fast paced too. And just like, I mean, I think every job I've had is fast paced. Probably the last company that I had worked for, that was super fast paced. The expectations were really high, but they also weren't clear expectations. So a lot of it was you just kind of had to assume what the expectations were going to be. So you end up putting a lot more pressure on yourself. But then they also try to sell it to you as like, oh, well, this is probably another one. And I don't want to get too far off topic of it, but it was, well, you kind of work at your own, you're just kind of in charge of your thing. If you need to take off, that's fine. Just take off whenever you want. Just make sure your stuff's taken care of. Well, that's the worst thing ever. Like, you're putting all the pressure on me. Well, I don't have anyone to dump it off on.
Yeah. I mean, I'll show up at 4 a.m., get my stuff done, and be gone by, noon, 1, 2 o'clock, and then everyone's going to be complaining because I'm leaving early,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, keeping those expectations. But a lot of these, like we're talking about, like every job's like, they might as well put, you're going to get paid as a job description. But as big companies do, they just make sure that they cover themselves. So they're putting fast pace. So when you get in there and it's chaotic and you're like, what the heck? This isn't what I thought. Like, well, it's fast paced,
Yeah. Well, I mean, another part too is being understaffed, and most companies are. I mean, and at the moment we're a little bit understaffed. Obviously there's a point where you like have to weigh, okay, is it affordable to bring in help, or is it not? Is it makes sense? And not every second, just because you get busy and get fast, like doesn't mean that.
And just because you
can hire someone, but a lot of companies do just run understaffed. I mean, like I'm going to use that example. That company I used to work for, they were always understaffed constantly. I mean, my team was understaffed. They're dumping a lot of things. It's like, oh, we want to bid, 3 jobs a day. It's like, dude, we can't do that. That's an impossible expectation.
Just because there's the work to do doesn't mean you're necessarily. If you could hire 2 more people and still, have adequate work, that a lot of companies won't say that's necessarily understaffed. It's all about budgetary purposes. Hey, to meet our goal to make this much margin in certain situations, this is where we want to be. And if you want to get, I know not all companies are necessarily like this. You get the benefit of it, but less people, you do more work, you're getting better benefits necessarily, maybe sometime better pay, but lots of times if you're fully staffed, you're not getting all those extra benefits of it.
Well, another one too is we wear many hats.
Yeah.
I've been in a lot of interviews where it's like, well, we expect you, this is your job title, or I've even worked for companies that won't give you a job title. They don't want you to have a title.
Yeah.
Because they want you to just be whatever. They don't want to.
Well,
because they don't want
that's
you to
not my job.
Exactly.
I can't,
but they want you to wear many hats. Well, that just tells me you're just going to throw stuff at me constantly and always be pulling me away from what I need to be doing. But then at the end of the year, when I didn't put out as many bids, or I didn't, hit these numbers, I didn't sell this much. Well, you've been asking me to do all these things. I mean, you were in a similar situation in one of your most recent jobs.
Yeah, but they wanted me to grow a business, but then I was, basically account managing everything and making deliveries and doing
taking orders, making deliveries, but you weren't able to hit your numbers, or you weren't as high above your numbers as they expected. I was hitting
some numbers, but not other numbers, but because I was taking care of certain deals.
And then how do you go to management and tell them that without them getting upset, saying, well, we need you to do it all? It's like, well, I can't, I can't. That's the multitasking.
Go out and sell bigger customers so you won't have to deliver, I guess.
Well, that's the multitasking part of it too, right? That's what it comes down to, is you can't sell, manage accounts, take orders, go be a collector, bill collector.
Oh man, that was the worst part and they would get on to us as, account managers, basically salesmen, but we're managing our accounts that, like, they owe money. Go collect the money. Like, I call them, some I'll call every single day.
Mhm.
That's how a squeaky wheel gets the oil. And I use that term a lot too. Because if your customer has issues paying you, you're not the only one they're not paying.
Yeah.
So you want to be that squeaky wheel. Call them every day. Be nice about it, but just call them every day, every week, however often. So when that check comes in, they're going to pay the people who are bugging them about it.
Yeah.
If you're going to be nice and not bother them and say, "Oh, I don't
You'll
want to
be
be
the
that,"
last one.
they're not going to pay you because they know you're not going to bother. But the same token, if they're not going to pay you, like I can't physically, I'll go grab my bat and go hit them in the knees, mob style. I can't make anybody pay.
Yeah.
But I call them every day. If they're out of town, I'll show up twice a month, knock on their door, all businesses, of course. I'm not, not knocking on anybody's front door of their house. And I've only done B2B sales, don't worry. But that's part of it. I worked at a job one time where I half jokingly said, "Oh, that's not really my job," and they said, my manager said, in the employee handbook, there's one sentence, one place that says you will do whatever you're told, to that extent. Like you will do any tasks you're told to do, and you sign your employee handbook. And I went, look, it was there. So they could have told me to go clean the bathroom. And if I would have refused, technically they could have said, okay, well, that's insubordination, you're fired. If they wanted to do that, that's a gross exaggeration, but that's basically what that is. Like, okay, then yeah, you don't have titles. You're just like, okay, this is what you focus on day to day. You're a driver, a salesman, or whatever. But and like we've talked about that in your business, like that's okay. Sometimes when you have 4 or 5, 6 people working for you and in the same mind and the right culture, like, hey, we're just going to get shit done. But in a corporation, a big company, that's not how that works. You're not going to go ask I'm not going to go to work tomorrow and ask the office lady, hey, can you go pull some cylinders to get ready to deliver? Like, I'm not going to have them do that at all. I might ask a driver to do that or a tech to do that, but that's a little bit different.
And how we get around it too is we don't necessarily give the titles. I mean, everyone's kind of a project consultant, and more so that is because that gives the customer ease that if they're talking to you, they know you can do things.
And there's not red tape where it's like, oh, I can't design or I can't deliver, or you're wondering like, why is your designer delivering?
Exactly. Or if you're an account manager, but you're out doing an install, or you're doing so everyone's a project consultant here, myself included. I'm a project consultant as well. And
you don't have a card that says I'm CEO bitch or something like that?
No, my card doesn't. Now my email signature does have owner/project consultant, because I think in some instances, like, people want to know, okay,
you're the guy.
There are those situations, but for the most part, business cards don't have that at all. Yeah. They just have project consultant, just like everyone else's business cards in the company have project consultant. Now, that might mean when you're a project consultant, you take on a project and you start it from design to estimating. Because I train all my guys to bid jobs, to
the smaller ones
build
you
them.
can take care of.
Yeah, so you could start a job. Anyone could start a job. Sean, as an example, can start a job, and we actually just finished up an install on one that he designed. I assisted him on putting pricing together. We got it printed, we got everything put together. Like, he saw it from beginning to end, and I think is better. Because I've worked a lot of jobs, and everybody's different probably, but I look at it from the fact where I was at in estimating. I never got to see the jobs finished. I never got to be on site with the jobs. I never got to see them along the way, really. You throw a number out, that's done, win it. Okay, go bid another one. Go get another one. And that one's gone, and you really just don't see it all the way through. Kind of like your baby, your project, right? And we do things a little bit different because I think they can be done that way.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of skills, if it comes to collections and things, which we have to deal with from time to time. We have customers, just like everybody does, that don't like to pay, that are delayed.
Yeah.
I take that burden on. I don't put that burden on account managers. I don't put that burden on any of my project consultants. I take on that burden. It's my company. I've taken that responsibility. I'm not going to put that on them. I'll go and handle collections, but I do keep them everybody notified. Hey, this is where we're at. This is what they said, just so you know.
Yeah. And that helps when people are out sick or take vacation. It's like some people will take more responsibility than they normally do, but it's nothing that they don't know how to do. And like, I have drivers that go out there and, somebody didn't pay their bill. They may go lock off the tank, and I tell them, we try to call ahead of time, say, hey, we're going to go lock off your tank, just so you're aware. Sometimes we're not able to get a hold of them. If people owe you money, they're not going to typically not answer their phones.
Yeah.
And I tell them, you go up there, you get one ounce of aggressiveness or pushback, just leave. Don't worry about it. It's not that important. It's not,
Yeah.
worth getting shot over or whatever. Or someone will say, okay, they want to, maybe a COD customer, collect on delivery, but we don't do that. I mean, my particular brand, other places in the company might. I don't ever have drivers take cash or check that, so they don't have to worry about it. They don't have to be liable for anything. We'll tell them, okay, we'll have them call the office. We'll go ahead and take payment. You can deal with that. But that's just stuff they don't have to deal with for a big corporation. And I think for a small company, and everyone's got to be on board. You can't just say, hey, you're going to come work here. You're going to do everything. That's not necessarily how it works. But if you have the right culture, everybody's agreeing, and you'll have reasonable things for everybody to do. Like I said, I'm not going to ask one of my office ladies to go do this. I'm not going to ask a driver to do this just because it's not in their wheelhouse. They're not getting paid to do that.
Yeah. Well, we have, Patrick handles a lot of the design work, that, and this is the point I guess I was going at, is everyone does still have like a task like that they are responsible. Patrick kind of heads our design side. I do a lot of design work as well. He majority does design work, but he does put estimates together. He will go look at a job. He's done that recently. He does occasionally go out and help do an install. So everyone still has, he's over that, Sean's more in production side. So he oversees that. He helps keep up with where we're at in stocked material. Do we need to get more material? What do the, like, everybody can do that, but that's just kind of his thing. So everyone has their own forte that they focus on, whether it be sales or estimating or designing or building or whatever it is, but everybody kind of collectively comes together. And, I think that's a better way for companies to do it. If you want that, is, hey, this is your title as a project consultant or however you want to put the titles, but do it better if you want someone to, like an office manager. Office manager, a wide open thing, right? You can do a lot of things, and an office manager, that can mean many different things at different companies.
Pulling orders, driving trucks.
But you don't want to hire.
They want managers to be qualified to do everything.
But don't hire someone or post a posting saying, "Hey, I'm looking for a sales associate or sales manager." Oh, but I want you to go collecting, and I want you to do this, and well, that's not sales. So you need to rename that. Whatever that is,
you talk about companies that don't have job titles. You can go the opposite way, and they're going to say, hey, I'm going to beef up your job title. This is what you want to keep this job. Like, you can tell people you're a sales manager, you're an account manager, you're this or that, business development manager, whatever, but you work in sales, which there's nothing wrong with that. I did that for a long time. It's still, some instances do wear that hat. But they beef it up, and you end up driving more than anything and delivering and things like that. But it's kind of keep you there. No, you got a cool title,
So I don't think wearing many hats is a problem in businesses, but I think you need to be upfront and honest.
We're talking about corporations, though. I think that is a red flag. Because small business, you are going to wear a lot of hats just because you don't have the you don't you want to be able to pay competitively where you're not going to have the overhead. That bigger corporations, you're not going to have the money to have an HR department, an accountant, to some extent. That's basically you.
In a small business, it's good. And I think in our case, I feel like is an example, but I think this is the case for every small business or most small businesses. A lot of the employees like that refreshing change. When I would have in the past opportunities when I was an estimator, and that's all I was doing. Well, when I would get a project thrown at me, say, hey, here's a small project. Can you help us project manage that? Yeah. Man, I really liked that, and I thrived at it because I wanted that change. That was fun to have that change, And I think that's good in small businesses.
Yeah, small businesses, that gives them the flexibility to do that. And lots of times it could be day to day. You can come up to, Sean may come up to you tomorrow and say, hey, man, I'm getting burnt out on this little aspect. Can we switch things up? And that'd be a lot easier. Go to your manager and you tell them that. They may not. I mean, they may be open to it. Like, yeah, we'll figure something else out, but you got to do your job today and tomorrow. We'll work it out. And one, I know you like to use this phrase, but it works in a lot of small businesses. It literally does work, especially family owned ones. Is saying we're a family. I think corporations should never use it. I would never use that, even though I think at our level, at our location, we pretty much kind of are, but I'm not going to tell people because that's kind of when somebody says like coercing.
It's too intimate when you use that.
There's no reason
in a large corporation.
There's no reason to say it other than, hey, come on, you can do that.
Mhm.
We're a family here.
Well, what would you, if you would do anything for your family?
Yeah.
If someone in your family asked you to do something that you weren't comfortable doing or you didn't really want to do, but if your family asks, you're going to do it, right?
Yeah.
So it's really a manipulative term used by corporations to put you in that scenario or that situation where, well, we're asking you to do this. We're a family, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't turn down your family to that.
But yeah, that, and then, but you could turn it around and say, well, yeah, when we have to cut costs, you're gonna fire me, and then we're not family anymore. Like, I'm not. If things get too expensive, I'm not gonna tell one of my kids, sorry.
That's exactly right.
You're just gonna we gotta cut it. Cut
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, how hard are they really willing to fight for you? When
Yeah,
it comes
I might
down?
tell my kids we're not having Disney Plus for a couple of months, but I'm not gonna say, hey, sorry. Yeah. Now some company, some managers may genuinely feel that and say that, and they may have no control.
Mhm.
They say, hey, I'm never going to do that to you unless somebody forces me to. But yeah, it's usually used in a manipulative sense of either it's in a job interview and you're trying to convince them, hey, we're like a family, or just like you said, hey, you would do that for your family. Hey, man, you need to work these extra hours. I'm going to work here. We're all going to, I've used that when some of our guys are on call, and, we always have somebody on call 24 hours and they rotate, and one guy's on for a week, and I tell them, you're on this week. So Jim and Jeff can be with their families, but the next week Jim's on, you could be with your family. You don't have to worry about your phone ringing. I'll say that, but like, I'm not going to tell them.
Well, the expectation then is that you're going to push the boundaries. You're going to go above and beyond without additional compensation.
You could say we're in the same boat. I don't think that's a red flag one. Oh, that's legit. We are,
I mean, I like the term is team, and I will use that a lot. It's one thing to be team members, team, if you think about it in the sports aspect, you can all be team, but you don't have to be family to be a team.
Yeah.
You can be a team and still know, hey, he has my back. Like you don't have to be a family to say, oh, they have my back or they don't.
But small businesses, the funny thing is, even like you hire your own family members, you literally are family. You have no need to say we're family here. You never have to say that. So, but you literally are. Family owned businesses literally are. They hire their son, they hire everybody.
But here's the difference is a corporation going to open up and tell you when things aren't looking too good?
Yeah.
Are they going to let you know ahead of time when things are looking rough? Are they going to be honest and open the book?
Hey,
and
we're going to have to cut back at some point unless we turn things up. So either let's turn things up, or hey, you might need to start looking for another job, but it's not firing you. It's very few companies will, and I have seen some managers that'll do it, but they'll say, hey, it's not looking good, but I'll give you time to, if you want to look for a job, you still have a job here for, I'll be your reference and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But typically that's not how it works. In fact, it's the opposite. HR will tell you, hey, don't say anything.
I think that, and really this is probably a bad term too, that a lot of people use as transparency. They'll say transparency, but they're not actually. I'm very transparent. I mean, anyone can walk into my office and I'll have up our bookkeeping software and see how much money's coming in, how much is going out. I have no problem letting anyone in our company at the highest or lowest level see how much money we have coming in.
Yeah.
And, some people get scared and think, well, they can't know that we're making that much money and they're going to want more money. And okay, well, but then be transparent with them both ways and say, okay, well, this is what we're making. That's great.
Yeah.
We're going to plan on bonuses and raises, and, which I recently just did for my team. We gave a bonus a month ago, and actually last week just did some raises.
Yeah.
But you also have to in turn say, hey, look, this is what we make. Yeah, we're doing great. But also look at what our expenditures are. Look at the few customers we don't have paying on time. Look at, just keep it transparent all the time. And then you will mitigate a lot of those problems, because my team knows if, yes, we have this much coming in, but this is how much we need to keep afloat and to make, ends meet. Well, they know, man, we got to get out and hustle. We need to go find some more work. As a team, we all collectively know and work together that way, because I'll be the first one. I mean, if there's extra, I'm not taking it.
Yeah.
I'm going to divide it up. Everybody's going to get a share of it,
Yeah. And a lot of these red flag terms for corporations, I mean, it makes sense. I get it. Companies have liability and they take care of them, I was told from HR when we needed to fire, well, I was trying to fire somebody. They were a big problem, but they were telling me fire them on Friday afternoon into the day. Like that helps for a corporation, but that's terrible for the employee. You want to fire them on Monday morning. That gives them all week to figure something else out. Now they have to sit there and stew all week. They can't do anything. You fire somebody, they can't go out and find a job. Well, I mean, they could on the weekend, but in general,
But you're kind of handcuffing.
No,
them
if
for
you're
2
gonna fire
days
someone-
to sit around and sulk in it.
yeah, and the manager doesn't want to sit all weekend like, crap, I got to fire somebody. So I ended up firing them on Tuesday because they didn't come in Monday, which is another kind of the reason they were on the chopping block. But I planned on firing. And yeah, it sucked all weekend. I'm like, gosh, I got to fire this person Monday morning. But they have all, they take the rest of the day off, go to the bar, go home, do whatever you got to do, get in the right mindset. Now you got Tuesday morning, go find a job. You can find a job the rest, before the end of the week. Now, I understand corporations aren't there for employees, and that's fine. But I get that. I understand that logic. But then you put we're a family.
Don't say that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're a family, and this last one, or I don't know, last one I have, work hard, play hard.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't, you shouldn't be playing hard during business hours. So that entails to me is, hey, you're expected to go to company happy hours, events after, extracurricular things, which is fine.
Well,
I enjoy, if you enjoy who you work with, that's fine. I've been to plenty of those, but sometimes I just want to go home. And
expectation comes to is they expect you're going to burn yourself out,
mm-hmm.
but then we're going to reward you because we're going to take you to a happy hour, or we're going to put ping pong tables in the office.
Can't give you a raise, but we'll give you a pizza party.
When I was in commercial construction, you wouldn't believe how many of these businesses now, especially in the Austin area, is really bad. They have all these like video game setups, and they have pool tables and showers and all these things. It's like, do these people ever leave work? And
yeah, you're not going on your, maybe at lunch, but you're not going at any time during the day on your break.
Work. Yeah,
you're not going to go play and then let your manager, or just worse, even someone higher up's like, who's this guy that's playing on it? You're not doing that. Like maybe for 5 minutes, as you're kind of like, you're not in a big hurry to go home.
Their
or whatever.
expectation is you're going to work till 5, 6, 7 o'clock. Well, then it's late. We'll just stay here and have, we built, office finish outs for, companies that they had like a bar. They had beer taps and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how many people are spending that? But they're having happy hours every week that they and there is that expectation that you go to that. And I'm not saying don't have a happy hour. We have one for our company. You're coming to it, I believe. We're having one for our company that we're inviting a few customers and our team to go out, and we're just going to have a night that we can enjoy, each other's company. This isn't a, hey, because everybody worked hard. Actually, I've got some guys that are going to be off on that day that just want it off. Anyway, it's like, hey, you know what? This works out. We're gonna probably close up early. Like, but this is more of a voluntary thing. Hey, come if you can. If you can't, there's no expectation. I'm not holding it against you because you don't want to. Hey, I get it. I'm not one that wants to go spend, like, when you're not at work, you want to spend time with your family, your spouse. Like, you want to do what you want to do.
And it goes back to the manipulative side.
Yeah.
Like, most of the time they don't care. I don't know that they really expect you to come. It depends if you work in sales or something like that, or a lot of team projects, then sure, they're probably like, hey, come to, it's bonding time or whatever. But it's on the manipulative side. It's like, hey, let's work. We're working hard.
Mm-hmm.
Work hard. Burn yourself out. You're okay. We're gonna play hard later.
Well, like what we did so this week, like, and I do use this term sometimes, but I truly mean it when I say work hard and play hard. Like, we bought lunch. We had jobs going. I mean, this was a busy week.
I've been
one
to
of the
lunch
busiest.
with you. You take a 2-hour lunch, just like,
Yeah, I mean, and I'm okay with that for my guys, and for everyone to know, my guys don't clock out for lunch.
Yeah.
You work a straight 8 hours. If we take a long lunch or you're 30 minutes, like, you don't clock out.
And not to get you off your thought,
paid.
that's how you weed in the good and bad. Yeah, just like Gary Vee said, they have unlimited vacation. Then you see who most of his employees still take 2-3 weeks a year, even though they have unlimited. But some take a lot of time off, and that's how you see. And that's how you call it a mistake if you want. Like, hey, if you hire somebody and you said, yeah, they're taking all this time for lunch because I don't care. I want you to be able to do that. But then you see they come rolling in late. They kind of, it takes them a while to get warmed up, but then they'll work hard. Then they know it's almost lunchtime. They start slacking off a bit. They take a long lunch. They take a nap. But that's how you weed those guys in and out.
That goes back to hiring well and hiring people that fit your team, that fit the needs you have. Not just because they have a great skill, because they could have a great skill and come in and be the worst employee and not want to be that team person and understand
and
the
can
goals.
be like whack-a-mole, because everybody's going to be on their best behavior. or they should be in an interview. And I've been burned a couple of times where, and this person just apparently doesn't. Honestly, when an employee or an interviewee tells me, man, I'm just ready to get to work, I want to work hard, those tend to be the guys that, hey, man, I'm not going to be able to come in today. And I get it. Shit happens. Family sick, stuff happens. I get it, especially when you have kids. But there are always some guys that it happens more often than other guys. There's always some reason, and they tend to weed themselves out, and they'll eventually quit or stop or whatever. I don't,
Back to what, like, this week was such a hard week for us, right? We bought lunch 3 days this week. Just, I told the guys Monday I knew we had a job, and I was like, hey, don't bring a lunch. We're going to be on a job. I'll send, I sent one of our other guys out and said, hey, go grab lunch for us. And then Tuesday was the same thing. Hey, you know what? Go grab lunch. And then Wednesday as well, we were back at the shop working, but we had a lot going on. And one of the guys was like, hey, you know what? I got to go grab something for lunch. I didn't bring anything. Hey, you know what? If you're going to go grab it, how about you just get it for the team for us? And let's just sit down and let's eat. And, you know, and then those are small things. I mean, you're talking about small benefits that my guys, my team, they appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, it's a bigger thing. They may not even notice it, that you don't have that extra stress at work. Like, I bet you they're not dreading Sunday afternoon, like, oh, weekend's almost over, and because you're just doing, you're not going to get onto them. You're not going to be on their ass, riding their ass all the time.
I don't nickel and dime my guys either, like windshield time. Like, I'm telling you, when they come in and start, your start time to your end time, that's it. You get paid start to end. I don't make you clock out.
That's really on you.
That's on me. You're exactly right. That's my fault if I don't have enough for you guys to do.
Yeah.
There's plenty of times probably more days than not, I send, hey, just go ahead and go home. You're still getting paid for the whole day anyways.
Yeah.
I'm not going to dock you because, maybe I'm done for the day. I'm like, hey, you know what? We'll get this tomorrow. It'll be here tomorrow when we get here. I don't want to hold that against anybody.
Yeah.
To say, like you said, it's not their fault if I don't bring in enough work to keep them busy. So, that's kind of a reward I try to give those guys. That, hey, you can leave an hour early, half an hour early. If guys show up a little bit late, like, I don't have a problem. You want to show up late, but let me know. You're supposed to be here at 8:30. You're going to be here at 8:40. Just text me before 8:30 and say, hey, I'm on my way. I'll be there at this time. Not a problem at all with me. I got no problem with that. Just communication. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Being laid back, because I'm just as laid back. I never yelled at one of my employees. I have no reason to. There's time they frustrate me or whatever. I've written people up. I'm firm when I need to be firm. I've written them up for things they shouldn't have done, not showing up, whatever. But we're all adults. Why would I? It's a job. We're at work. Why am I taking anything personally? Yeah. Like I said, most of the times they weed themselves out. You can, they can sense when, especially the ones that are doing it and taking advantage of it, they know. Then they're getting all worried. They're like, oh, and he thinks this about me because I'm not trying. Like they psych themselves out and they end up quitting anyways. But you weed yourself. You don't want to have to discipline somebody into doing a good job, because you're going to have to continue to do it. They're not just going to one day, especially these are all adults. If you're employing children or raising children, that's completely different. You're not training people how to be good workers. You're training them how to do a good job. You're training them the skills, but like, there's just going to be a problem. If I'm going to get all bent out of shape and yell and cuss at people just to get them to do a job, maybe in the moment it works. Maybe like, yeah, you're right. They show up to work every day for the next 2 weeks, but then they get back into it. I'd rather just, that was a bad hire or whatever. He just doesn't fit with our, maybe he doesn't like me. Maybe he doesn't want to come to work, whatever it is. It's like, we'll weed those guys out. And, in the last 8 months, I've hired 4 people that don't work there anymore, but I've also hired 6 or 7 people that are great workers. And I like the team we have. And sometimes it's a hit and miss. You just hire people, and a lot of green people, but you can teach them the skills. You can teach them how the routes and how we do things, but you can't teach them work ethic most of the time, especially if they're adults. That's kind of already ingrained in them. They're either good workers or not good workers. You're not going to teach them to have a good attitude, to not get pissed off and cuss when they have to sometimes work 12-hour days to finish their route, or when I call them and say, hey, this person called out, I need you to go hit them, whatever. They might be frustrated. They might hang up the phone and cuss, but they understand the respect. Okay, we're not going to get into it.
Yeah.
I'm upset right now. I'm just going to hang up the phone and cuss in the truck while I'm driving there. But then I'm fine afterwards. We're all fine. And
I think if you truly build a good culture,
yeah,
then that makes the difference. If you actually truly are not just using the term for it, but actually building a culture that people understand the end goal and they understand where we're all trying to go as a team, and a lot of that starts with management is just leading the guys. Now, you're not being a boss. I'm not a boss at all.
No.
I'm absolutely the first one in the trenches. When we go to an install, I'm the first one. There is no job that I don't do.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pick up trash on a job site. I'll, be the first one on the ground, laying down under a vehicle when we're wrapping or something. Like, I'm going to get down and dirty. That I expect that from everybody, but I'm not going to be just up here, hey, you need to get down. No, I'll get down there. And I hope that you see that and you want to jump in and do the same thing. And everyone I have does do that. But back to the work hard and play hard, for our business specifically, and there are a lot of businesses out there, and really a lot of businesses should do this more, is utilizing social media.
Mm-hmm.
And, I would say half of what we do, we have cameras going on everything we do. I mean, whether, we were in the shop today, we had cameras rolling. We had,
cameras rolling right now podcast.
We're on a job site where we're always doing stuff, right? And I open it up to my team as, hey, I'm not the only creative mind here. Excuse me. We have a ton of creative minds. I want everybody out. But I don't expect you to spend all that creative time. Oh, well, when you go home, I want you to figure out what we can do for videos or TikToks or whatever we're doing, right? No, you can do that but some of that comes with it takes research, right? See what's trending. When we're doing designs, that there takes a lot of research. Guys need phones, iPads, computers, get online and do research. Go look up, you don't know how to do something when you're designing, you need help, go look up a YouTube. I tell my guys all the time, go look up a YouTube video. That helped me tremendously. I would get stuck on something that I'm trying to do and I just couldn't execute it.
Yeah.
Go find a YouTube video, watch YouTube. Like, I have no problem with that as long as we're being productive, obviously. But, we don't have that no phone policy. If something comes up, like, I know we
We're all
work
adults.
But and we work during business hours. My guys come in at 8:30 to 4:30 is the kind of typical work day. Well, if you need to call the bank or you need to call like that, you have to do it during those times to use your phone. Do it. Take care of that. That's part of my work hard, play hard, but it's work hard and do what you need to do while we're working.
Yeah.
If you need to make a call, you need to take care of personal things come up. I get it. You don't want to push everything off. And then when you get off work, have all this stress because, I got to call this. I got to handle it. Dude, just handle it.
Yeah.
Take 10, 15, 20 minutes
you want
to
the
make
guys
that phone
working
call.
for you. Just say, man, I got to go take this. They take it. And then when they get off of the phone, they come and they start, they understand, okay, I've taken 3 phone calls because I'm trying to figure this out and I'm going to work harder.
No, I've had
You
guys,
don't want to have to yell at somebody or tell them to do
Sean's told me before, oh man, I got to stay 4 minutes. I got here 4 minutes late. I'm like, don't worry about it. You're good.
Yeah.
Like, I know you put the work in. Like, you gave me 8 hours plus of work today in 7 hours and 53 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that. I'm not real concerned about that. That's why I don't worry about the lunches because there are days that, you said, hey, we'll go take a 2-hour lunch. I got no problem doing that.
Yeah.
We don't do it every day.
No,
But
and days you got to get stuff finished.
There's also days that we're on a
but you're
job site.
transparent that they know that.
We're sitting on job boxes eating our lunch.
Yeah.
And we've got 15 minutes. We'll take 15 minutes to eat and then we're back to working.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the trade-off that there is. There is some give and take there. And, I make sure my guys understand that I respect them for being team players like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where that work hard and play hard is. Yeah, we can work hard, play hard. There's days we don't have half a day's worth of work. Guess what? That's when we're going to go take a 2-hour lunch.
Yeah.
That's when you're going to get to go home early. That's when, we're going to go back and, hey, let's do a little research for some TikToks or something we want to put together. Let's see what's trending. Get on your TikTok, get on your Facebook, your Instagram, go see what's trending. Go get some inspirational ideas for designs. We've, working on designs this week and, Sean was actually helping me with it. We're working through and we just got stuck. Just kind of hit a plateau. It's like, man, we put together this really cool and there's one part we're just stuck on. We just can't come up with what it is. We Googled and we're looking for all these ideas and inspirations and videos and social media and everything. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't expect you to think about it over the weekend, but it's in your head and it's going to anyways, right? It's in the back of your head. You're going to come up with an idea and we're going to call it an early day because we can't We're
Yeah.
not, it's us just sitting here watching the clock because we're, trying to figure this out isn't going to help.
Yeah.
Go home. You'll get the idea over the weekend. Write it down. When we get back on Monday, we'll sit down and we'll reevaluate what we've got,
Yeah. And you have to have like you said, the right employees for that to work. As a worker, you should do more than you're paid for, and eventually you'll get paid for more than you do. But if you work for the wrong company, that's not necessarily the case. They're just going to expect you to keep doing more and more than what be worth more than you're getting paid. But if you work for the right company, and typically it's smaller businesses, and that's not to say there aren't good corporations or good managers in corporations, or there aren't bad small businesses with bad managers that don't see that. But in general, that's just, people will say, well, then people will take advantage of you, and that may be true, but that's how
Mhm.
you to be transparent is I'm giving this employee space to use his phone, to do this, to do that, to be late for work, to do whatever. If that's what happens, they take advantage of it. They're not the right employee. That's the quickest
Mhm.
way to tell, and you don't have to get all stressed out and yell about it, and you find good employees,
That
but
also
you have to go through bad employees
goes
too.
back to hiring guys that fit in that mold, and then you train them and teach them what you need them to know.
Yeah.
To be willing to bring in a guy that's green, be able to spend time with them and train them because you know that they have the right morals, that they want to be there to help the company grow and help themselves grow. It kind of goes into, the term that a lot of corporations use is you have unlimited earning potential.
Yeah.
That's a big one, right? Well, that just means that you're going to have crazy quotas. You're going to work so hard, and maybe there's a chance that you can earn as high as you can.
And then they don't have to give you annual raises. They don't just go sell more. That's typical of a sales
shouldn't
job.
that be every job has unlimited earning potential? Like if a company continues to grow, wouldn't there be unlimited for everyone to grow?
Yeah.
Would that not be the case? I mean, even in a corporation, shouldn't that be? But what happens is they set these tiers and scales, right? And they say, okay, well, and this goes kind of in an industry-wide thing, whether you're, in sales, well, sales, I guess, does have a little bit different cap. Like there's not a kind of a thing, but like I know from experience just being in estimation, right? There's like a level you kind of can get to in estimating before you cap out. Like most corporations, you don't go over 150,000 a year, whatever that number might be. So at that point, they use that against you by giving you that title and saying, well, you actually there is a earning cap because estimators don't make $250,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year. You would have to go to this or this, and then that would be commissions. And like, why is that the case? If you can grow your business and that person can handle the extra workload, why wouldn't that just be for everyone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really tell anybody this in our company. Like, we don't talk about like that. Oh, there's unlimited, like I'm going to keep giving you raises as long as we keep making money and keep growing. If we grow and there's extra money, you're going to get it. Now, there might be a limit where, hey, we can't afford to give a raise, but we have a little bonus here. Hey, I can give you bonuses. But I don't ever see a point where I can't pay somebody $100 an hour as long as we have the production, right? As long as we continue to grow as a business, especially where we're at. And this, and maybe this is why businesses don't want to have open-ended job titles. They want to kind of cap you to a title because they can cap you to that dollar. But hey, if you want to make more money in our business and we can only bring in X amount and you will bring in more, well, obviously I'm going to start paying you more if you're bringing in 50% of the business. Well, guess what? You're getting a raise because you're bringing in more.
Yeah. I've been in interviews where it turns out they don't say it in the job description, but it's 100% commission base, like no salary, no anything. And you kind of talk to them and like, oh, okay, well, I thought the same thing. And, the best decision of my life, I would have never thought I would do. And it almost becomes like you're interviewing them. And then you're kind of like, okay, this is definitely not like, if I'm not,
they're way overselling it.
Yeah, you're way overselling it. We're like, well, you're hiring for this. You're not doing this anymore. It's like you did it long enough and then you worked your way up and now you're making a salary, but it's like, there's no bit, but you have to work for what you're like, but you can work your ass off and have a bad month and then you just get nothing,
Mm-hmm.
you know? That's why every single sales job I've had a high base salary and then extra bonuses and commissions and stuff. And, I've won awards and won contests and won all kinds of sales things. It wasn't like, hey, it took my drive away because, I don't need a fire lit to my ass. Like, hey, my family doesn't eat this month if I'm not able to sell,
Yeah.
because sometimes you'll go to people, you'll have sales meetings and like, well, none of these people want to buy. They're not in the right, and some of it could be, hey, I'm prospecting wrong. I'm not qualifying the right customers, but, sometimes you're just not finding the right people, or the right companies. It's not necessarily your fault. It just happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have good sales months or whatever, but it can't go both ways. You have to be able to say, yeah, well, we got to make sure we take care of our, but you have to work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I am working. I'm not succeeding. I'm not doing anything but I'm putting in the hours. That's why there should always be minimum sales. So that's why that is a red flag to me when it says unlimited sales potential. That's almost like if there is one where you're going to get paid high and you still can make more, if you want to tell people, hey, you want to make more money, you can go out and sell jobs if that's what you want to do on top of this. But that's not something you put in a job posting. That's something you talk about later.
Yeah. There's another one. I don't know if you've seen this on any job postings that, we're like a startup atmosphere, or we're kind of we're a startup company, or, really overselling that startup, which really just means that it's going to be disorganized. They're not going to have the funding to pay really well. And you're probably going to work in a lot of extra hours,
it's a
right?
pipe dream. It's hey, we're Facebook, we're a startup.
Come in and sacrifice.
Apple started in a garage,
and all these guys sacrificed it to make it, and look what they turned into. Yeah,
you stick it out long enough, you could be a billionaire too. And there's so
not
few.
to count the ones that you haven't mentioned that we don't even know of because they never made it out of the garage or never made it.
Yeah.
They want to use the examples of the five. What is it? Google, Apple, Tesla. There's
Facebook started in a dorm room. Dropped out of college just to start.
The handful that we know of that are household names, but you don't mention the thousands or millions maybe of that didn't make it.
Yeah, so, just like there's lots of jobs that have high turnover, but the ones who stick it out, make lots of money. It's like it's not just necessarily luck. There are people in the right atmosphere. Now I'm not saying there are companies that are just bad that don't work. It's like they just have to have the right kind of people, I guess, into them. Somehow car dealerships work, but it's still like you don't want to work. You have to be the right kind of person to succeed.
The thing is if you're in ownership or management or something like those higher levels, you can't expect the employees to have the same drive you have. If it's your company, it's your baby. Obviously, you're going to have more drive. I don't know. I don't clock hours, so I don't know how many. I mean, I work 7 days a week. I work even Sundays. I spend some time on the computer. Saturday mornings, up until about lunchtime, I work. Like, I work even day. I mean, most my guys are off on Fridays. They'll only work a 4-day schedule. Fridays are off. That's kind of my day to handle some of my stuff. But I work but I don't expect any of my guys or anybody that I bring in to work or care about this as much as I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to bring people in. I want people that fit into the culture that we're trying to build that is being developed, but I never bring them in and expect, well, I'm putting 60 hours. Why aren't you? Or, I'm putting 60 hours and you're only doing 32 hours a week. What? That's you can't tell me.
It's okay to hire somebody and it's just a job for them. If they're going to work hard, get paid for what y'all agreed on, and they might stick it out for you. They might work.
They don't want promotions. They don't want to be management. They don't want to run.
Job. Yeah, just a job for them, and that's fine. People talk about find something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. But sometimes it's okay to just work a job. It sucks, but you work a job because it pays enough money to pay the bills, and you get to do fun stuff on the weekend or whatever. Sometimes that's okay.
You want to coach your kids' teams. You want to do all those things.
Not everybody can be an entrepreneur. And if everybody was, then entrepreneurs wouldn't have anyone to hire. Some people are just going to be employees, but lots of times, there's a hybrid in there, just like I suspect Sean sort of is, where he can help run I think he takes a little bit of ownership into it too. But
Well,
you,
and those are rare breeds. I mean, if you can find them, that's the kind of people you want to hire because you can teach them anything. You want people that come in and they want to take ownership in it. They have a vested interest in what you're doing. They want to see it succeed. It's more than a job for them.
but they have to have the ego in check too, where you can't, like, sometimes you can't have more chiefs than Indians in the room, and you've attested to it, you can be both a chief and an Indian. Sean can be a chief and an, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that these days, but you have people that want to take ownership, but they can also take a step back and, like, I'm kind of that way. Hey, I don't know when I have a tech that is trained way beyond me in certain things, and when I go help them out, I'm not your boss right now. You tell me what to do. I'm just a helping hand. I'm a laborer, and
I try to be the same way. I mean, we're doing a lot of training now, so there is a lot of teaching, but there's situations, when you're working on something specific, like we're doing wraps, and we want to leave the backing on as long as possible till we get to the end, so we're not getting our hands or getting opportunity for dirt to fly up into the wrap or anything, But there's a spot, it's like, hey, I'm going to pull this down, and, Sean or anybody might say, Landon or Patrick, but hey, just go ahead and take it off. We got it from here. Okay. Yeah. You got it. I'm not going to argue with you about it. We got it. Like that's what I look for in employees is like, you take ownership in it. You run it. If you can just step on site and just be like, hey, let's do this. Start this. Let's start here. I want to do this. Hey, I'm right behind you. You just tell me what you need.
Start that. If they go and get this customer, they work on the project, they do design, and like, hey, I need your help to do this. You walk on.
This is your job to manage.
What am I doing? You're not. You may see something, you're like, I wonder if we should be doing it that way. And you may bring that up, but they say, oh yeah, we thought of that because 3 days ago we ran into this issue. This is what we're doing. Okay, this is your job. You need a helping hand. That's what I'm doing.